Okay, through the headset. This is gonna be not video because although I said I'm dropping Rwby at the end of Volume 7 regardless, um I was just chilling after work, and one thing I was doing, I was just watching AMVs on my channel. I got like a list of AMVs that are absolutely magnificent. I like listening to them for their songs and what they are, and I was just going through YouTube, listening, watching other AMVs, and just listening to like the lyrics of some of these songs and some of the scenes that are playing from different anime I've watched. It just occurred to me when I'm watching them, different moments that I've watched in anime that have really left an impact with me. It's like I watch them now, and whether they're epic fight scenes that I'm just like, wow, this is amazing, or if they're like really emotional scenes, ones that can even get me like tear up or feel like shit just like rewatching them. There's scenes that really leave an impact with you, and after 7 years of watching Rwby, I was just like, what's left an impact on me? Like, what scene have I watched where I'm like, I'm gonna probably, well, look, it's 7 years. Let's say, let's rewind 4 to 5 to 6 years. It's like, does anything from volume 1 to 3 left an impact on me? And I was like, well, oh, Pyrrha, but then with me, I'm just like, there was no reason for her to go up the friggin' tower. Like, that tower was gonna get destroyed regardless. Even if she defeated Cinder, with the amount of Grim infested, it's just like there was no point to Pyrrha going up that friggin' tower. So, for me, the stupidity of the scene cancels out her death, and at this, the only time I ever felt like really bad for Pyrrha dying was in Volume 4 with Jean in the forest. That scene actually got to me. I was like, that's a really good use of the friggin' scene. Actually wish they explore more stuff like that. And Penny, well, they brought it back, and despite the fact that they're using, it was just like, it didn't do anything. All this, there's no epic scenes in Rwby that I feel stick with me, where I'm like, this is amazing. And this all comes from the point that I said, if you take Rwby, it's either something isn't explored or it's shallow, especially shallow. I feel like when I actually went over the AMVs, when I went over different things, for this, I'm going to be using My Hero Academia and Naruto. A lot with Naruto, because that's just a anime that I grew up watching by the time I was probably between being a kid, teens to 20s. Like, that's when this anime like really shaped me. And I was realized the scenes in Rwby. Now I get why they're smaller, but I don't. Just because they're smaller doesn't mean you can't carry out a story over different arcs or have the impact actually still hit you. And if I can use some references here on scenes that still get to me to this day, and when I actually explore these scenes with you, I want you to realize just how much one action affects the rest of the world that we're talking about. And we'll start with Naruto. It's like when Asuma dies. The beginning of the Akatsuki clan, um, and Asuma's one of the grown-ups in the village. He's a sensei to a team. This is the equivalent if Team Junior or Juniper, Ranger, whatever you want to say, Jean, Nora, Ren, if they had someone like Crow for them, because that's what Naruto did. They took teachers, and everyone got a teacher. We started off with Iruka, um, and we got Kakashi for Naruto's group. Asuma got given to Shikamaru, Ino, and Choji. So it's like, it's Asuma died on a mission in front of Shikamaru. Him dying led to Kurenai, who's another sensei. She's the sensei of Hinata, Shino, and Kiba's group. She ended up, and she died. He died while she was pregnant, so she became a single mother, resulting in Shikamaru, his student. He stepped up, but after having a mental breakdown. Watching Shikamaru have a mental breakdown with his father, and his father's just like, you gotta let it all out. And then you see him processing. He's playing Shoji. Shoji's a big thing for Shikamaru's character. All this friggin' world building, all these characteristics of different characters, how they act, their hobbies and shit, all merging together in this scene of him planning how to defeat the people that killed Asuma. The team planning to go out, and then, they get caught, and Kakashi goes with them to face them. All of this happening sticks with me. And I'm gonna avoid that one for now and go on to another one, because this ties into the Asuma thing. This is another. So these are 3 deaths that actually pay really good homage. Jiraiya dying. Naruto had a breakdown, realizing that the path he walks, even as a main character, but the path he's chosen to walk, he's walking it alone now, without his father figure. He already didn't have a father. He's had senseis, but Jiraiya was really like a father figure to him, and I don't think if he ever figured out, I don't know when I forget when he figured out in the story, if his mother or father ended up telling him, or that Jiraiya was actually his godfather. And Shikamaru, who's already been through all this after Asuma died and his mental breakdown, Shikamaru is the one to bring Naruto out of it. And the importance of this to the plot is that further down the line, when Naruto is headed towards becoming Hokage and becomes Hokage, Shikamaru is his right-hand man, someone he always relies on. This is story building, world building, character building. The other one is like Sasuke killing his brother only to find out the truth about Itachi and the village, which in turn changes his goals and the perception of the world of Naruto. Listing these 3 things, these 3 moments in time, all of them, 3 battles, 3 deaths, and 3 big moments that affected all major characters in the show and gave ride to some of the best arcs in the show. Some of that shit can get me in tears if I watch it again. Nothing in Rwby really accomplishes that goal. I'm not saying, they've had deaths that came across as kind of stupid or pointless, depending on how you view it, because Penny's is pointless. Pyrrha didn't need to die in the end. She just had to die differently. That's my point with Pyrrha. They need to rewrite the scene so there's an actual reason that she goes up there and does it, rather than, I gotta stop Cinder. But, there's a big dragon that's gonna knock over the tower anyway, so there's that. Other things, 2 more stages for this. This is My Hero Academia. This was Stain. I'm not going to go into Overhaul because that's a current arc and I don't want to spoil anything for people watching. With Stain, him bringing up the topic of what it is to actually be a hero, if it's a job, if you're getting paid for it, are you really a hero or just a product of society and ignorance? If everyone's a hero, are you really a hero? If you're profiting from being a hero, are you really a hero? It was a very interesting dynamic. He hated the society that was built up from it. I don't know if you could actually see anything similar to that in Rwby unless you're implying that Ozpin is indeed evil and the huntsmen are like his minions and a product of society. I don't. They won't go that route. Um, and Ozpin's just not evil in people's eyes right now. He's not evil. Ozpin, I don't give a shit. He's done nothing really wrong. I mean, he keeps a few secrets, but when you turn around and give us a backstory telling us he's been betrayed in the past, which has kind of made him jaded, you understand why he keeps secrets, and then your message later on, like in Volume 7 right now, is like, oh, how dare Ozpin keep secrets? You're better than that, Rwby. You tell people the truth. And I'm like, Ozma had a reason not to tell people. Rwby, not so much. And this has to do with Rwby. This one from Naruto. And if anything, it's been voted the best arc in all of, not all of Naruto, but Shippuden, the sequel, Shippuden, is the Pain invasion arc. Besides Pain's character, because I feel that, I'm not going to match Pain himself up to Rwby. That's not even fair. Pain's character is on some god tier level writing shit. It would be really unfair to match that high level of expectation to Rwby. But in terms of the invasion arc, how the invasion takes place with the 6 paths of pain, each one individual, unique abilities, guerrilla warfare tactics, looking for information while causing distractions, everything, how it's handled, all of that made the invasion a lot more interesting to watch, and how the people defending were trying to relay information to each other in order to overcome the invasion. That's fascinating as shit. That's absolutely amazing to watch, the Pain invasion arc. Matching it up to Rwby is something that they've recycled now. The Grim invasion. And what we saw in Volume 3 is Cinder making a stupid speech. Like, her speech is really dumb. If you go back and listen to it, in the context of everything that's happening, it's really dumb. Like, if you say Cinder's plan in a basic format, I'm going to cause chaos, which will cause a reaction, which will cause the Grim to attack. When you say it basically, it sounds like it could work. But then you go into the detail of Cinder's plan, and you start to realize there's so many loopholes and plot holes to her plan. It's the same in Volume 7 with like Tyrion and what's his plan on how to cause a Grim invasion. People have already pointed this out, like at the rally where they're framing Penny. The fact is they could actually prove that the video is false. All they have to go is like, look, this is editing, this is just this. When you look at a fake video, there's no such thing as a perfect fake video. You can tell it's been edited. You can't hide that shit. On top of that, people were pointing out if there were the fact that there's no fairness at a rally for a person who's supposed to be like the representative and savior of Mantle Robin is just fucking weird, because just imagine if even a quarter of the people at that rally were fairness. So many people would have seen that Penny didn't do shit. It's like the amount of things that, like, what if Penny in general had a recording system, like it's got a link to a computer somewhere and it just records everything she views through her eyes. It's like there's so much shit that can actually go wrong with the plan that it makes it seem really stupid. And with the Grim invading, there's nothing to the Grim. The Grim are like one of the most boring things in Rwby now because they're never actually a threat unless they're in huge fucking numbers. So between all the volumes, unless it's volume 3 at the end or volume like 7, 8 at the end, you're not gonna get any decent shit out of the fucking Grim. This is it. When they invade in big numbers, they are an actual threat. Beyond that, they're not. And they don't do anything. They just do the same shit. Let's just swarm in big numbers. Hey, we swarm in. We swarm in. There's no actual strategy and intelligence to them. And with the people fighting them, like Team Rwby and all that, we get hyped up over seeing the most basic shit in Rwby. Oh look, checkmate. Blake and Weiss are working together, and they do like one move that requires them to move together, and people lose their friggin' minds. And I'm like, if you actually sat down and watched other anime out there, and you see how fights actually work, and the thought that goes into the fights, the abilities, the people in around working together to actually trap people, you would be mind blown by the actual fights. Like, I'm just thinking of Kakashi, Choji, and Choji's father versus Pain. That fight is one of the most amazing things to friggin' watch. From the use of the lightning clone, the use of the Mangekyo Sharingan, the chains under the ground, how Choji and his father surprise him, everything that happens, and then they get defeated and Choji's running away, and you actually think Kakashi's dead and how Choji gets away. Everything that goes into that scene has you on the edge of your seat. My point is, I have not seen anything, although I expect Rwby to be on a smaller scale with fights. You got a whole volume. You can space shit out. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe, like, dude, you're about to have a Grim invasion, right? Have volume 8 just be the Grim invasion. Just focus on Atlas during a whole volume, or even half a volume. The whole half of volume 8, 5-6 episodes. Focus in on the Grim invasion. How to counter it. What's going on. What are the outside forces. Focus on all the different aspects of Atlas. From the dust mines. Transferring the dust mines. Getting control of the computer. Getting to Watts. Getting to Tyrion. What happens with Cinder and that. Going after the Winter Maiden. The Relic. Focus in on all these different aspects and make it fulfilling rather than just 1-2 minute cutscenes between the two and going like, oh yeah, they're doing that, they're doing that, they're doing that, and it feels shallow. That's all I'm saying is, like, when I watch Rwby, I'm not getting the sense that something amazing's happened anymore. And after 7 years, I'm kind of disappointed that I can't look back and go, that was goddamn amazing. Or I'm not getting emotional over something that I've watched for 7 years. And when I realized that, I started to realize, like, I feel cheated. It's like, what type of show gets 7 years running, 7 years funding and running, and it can't deliver any of that? Everything I talked about, none of Rwby feels like any of what I talked about. And at this point, if Crow dies, I'm like, fuck, he could have died in Volume 5. Was it Volume 5 or Volume 4? Volume 4? It was yeah, I think it was Volume 4. He could have died then. Fuck it, I don't give a shit. He could have fucking died then. Would have actually made more sense. I mean, when someone survives a major incident that goes bad, they kind of develop plot armor. And like, other family characters, like where I grew attached, like I was hyped whenever we met Minato. Not so much with his wife Kushina, because she just like really showed up in one scene. But Minato, we got like flashbacks and shit of what was happening, and I felt like really attached to Naruto's father. Taiyang, I don't give a shit about. Taiyang, I don't care about at all. Raven, don't give a shit about at all. Kali and Gira, don't fucking give a shit about it at all. Willow, don't give a shit about it at all. Jacques, fucking don't care anymore. All these parental figures, and I don't give a flying fuck about any of them because I haven't developed any attachment to them. So that's just what I wanted to get across. I'm just like, I want to know from other people, do you feel the same way when you watch Rwby and you feel like there's no epic scenes that have actually impacted your life? Or is there something from the show you can take away that actually helps you grow as a person? I don't mean little things either. I don't mean little things like always try your best or do that, because that's like Naruto as a main character. I didn't take away anything from Naruto. I don't take away anything from Deku. A lot of main protagonist characters, you don't take anything away from at all. But characters like Shikamaru, Sasuke, Stain, Pain, those type of characters, they influenced me a lot on who I wanted to become. And if I had to target one especially, it's Shikamaru. Shikamaru made me realize when you go through really dark shit that can just pop up and surprise you. You think life's boring, it's the same stuff, working. Then something bad just surprises you out of nowhere that you did not see coming. You find it hard to come back and deal with it. You try to fake your feelings. That's what you do in depression. I'm really good at lying to people when I was depressed. No one knew I was fucking depressed. And it was similar to Shikamaru's. Like, I had my friend Daniel come along, and he took me away outside of Sydney for 3 days to his girlfriend's family's place, farm. And they're just like, you need to get away and just, break down, let it all out, man. And I did, and afterwards, it was hard coming back from that. But it was just like, I realized I gotta become stronger, get back to work, and be there for other people in life as well. So it's like, certain things I found real impact in watching the show. And I don't get any of that from Rwby. That's just my point of view.